can do. A 3-0 sweep of Europe's H2K will send Samsung Galaxy to the World Final.
3-0 against Rocks Tigers in the series, and SKT punched their ticket to their third World Final.
I think the X factor is going to be the jungle. I'm not going to say that mid lane won't be impactful. I think Faker is the biggest reason why SKT will win this series. However, the expectations of Faker are that he always performs super, super well. And it's actually disgusting because the expectations you have for Faker is already that he's the best mid in the world. And so because of that, you know where you're going to get every single game above average performance. I think that because of that, the X Factor has to come from another place, the jungle.
I think Wolf, if he can perform a lot better than he did in their semifinals match, I believe their games will look a lot cleaner and SKT will actually be able to steamroll Samsung.
I think the X Factor player for SK Telecom T1 will probably be Wolf. I think Wolf was very down on himself for his performance in the semifinal, and he really wants to show better games in the final. So I think that maybe he'll show up and he'll just completely shut down Samsung completely. I would say the X Factor player for Samsung is Ambition. I think some people have been calling Ambition really underrated, but if you track Ambition very carefully, he does a lot of kind of careless invades where he will go in blind or he'll go on a side of the map where his lanes don't have an advantage and he can get caught a lot.
I think for Samsung, their big X factor is whether or not their mid laner can hold up the Faker. I think Crown has had a way better series than I expected. Honestly, he's played out of his mind. But the thing is, players have played out of their minds and played against better competition and kind of choked. So when you saw Ryu throughout the series, Ryu throughout Worlds has played some of the best he's ever played. But when he played against Crown, a high-level mid laner, he just got destroyed. So when you look at it, I don't know if Crown played anyone as good as Faker since the start of Worlds, and if he has to play against Faker, it might get ugly. However, if he can hold his own, if he can even succeed in lane and get ahead in lane, that would be a really, really big game changer.
I think Samsung's X Factor will be Cuvee just because he's improved immensely just throughout the course of this tournament, and I want to see how high his ceiling is, like how high he can go. I believe SKT are going to win because I just think that they look a lot more prepared, I guess, for this current meta, and I just think that they have a lot more experience. And then there's obviously the elephant in the room of Faker in the mid lane, who can kind of still has the power to take over and carry a game.
I believe SK Telecom T1 will win because even though they have a somewhat strange playstyle of playing around a central carry, which isn't necessarily always optimal, it's the best player in the world, whereas Samsung Galaxy have a slightly less consistent identity, and SKT can play more controlled over this playstyle.
I think SKT are going to win because, and this is a really stupid reason, but they have Faker. And I really believe that Faker is the best mid in the world still. He draws the most amount of pressure to mid lane, I think, and their bot lane is performing extremely well. Bengi kind of showed up as well in the semifinals. I think just in general, Samsung didn't play super clean games today. I thought they got abused very easily by H2K in the early game, and so I really think that because they weren't as clean, SKT is just going to choke them dry.
I will give Samsung one game. I think the final score will be 3-1.
I think the final score is going to be 3-1 SKT.
I believe it will be 3-1 SKT. Just very similar to the Rocks Tigers SK Telecom final of last year. I believe Samsung will take a game. However, SKT will come out on top.